Again, a round of applause for Miss Esme. She dropped a little intro on why we're about to talk about the importance of empowering our youth and showing them how it's actually done, not just in word but in deed. So before we get started, I want to say greetings, everybody. Big up to my brother, big up to my sister, my mother, my auntie, everybody who came out. The church community, he brought out all the youth empowerment to you, and welcome to my husband as well as my children and young Shiloh, who's a little bit nervous, but we're going to bring her on in a minute. The story of what we're going to do, and then I'm going to give everybody the notepads. The story basically is, I always wanted to write a children's book. How many people in here have written, want to write, or will write a children's book? We got some people in the back, we got some people over here. Right, so this is what we want to talk about. We have ideas and we're like, man, how do I do it? And when I was young, I had all those ideas, and I didn't know how to do it. And I actually didn't finally write it till now, recently. I've tried in times past, but publishing and editing and all of these things, no one really took your hand to show you how to do it. And so because of that, and because of us finally doing it together, I wanted to bring to you a little bit of opportunity to learn that it's not that far beyond you. So how many people is excited about that? You excited? We're going to start a little bit today. So right now what I'm going to do is hand out the notepads and the pencils for you, because this is a workshop. That means you have to work. Yes. Yes? It's not just, oh man, I really wish that I could write a book. You have to take it from your mind, put it on the paper, and work. So that's what we're going to do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hand this out, and then I'm going to give everybody an opportunity. Your voice is what you're going to be writing. Your ideas, your imagination. So first you have to be comfortable with who you are. So I'm going to ask all the children as I go around to tell us their name. Is that cool with you? Alrighty then. We're going to, as a matter of fact, so that I don't have to work so much, the children, please line up and come to receive your paper, at which time you're going to tell me who you be. But that's not correct English. You're going to tell me what your name is. Alright? And tell everybody else. So all the children, please line up. And hopefully I have enough papers and pads. All right. Yeah. Come on, Amara. Come on, Fatima. Come on, I know the name, and so we never have to ask. But all right, you at the first line. What's your name? Come on, no, Hannah, do better for me. What's your name? Hannah. She says her name is Hannah. Do you know what your name means? That is very important, and that's your first assignment. Your name is your vibration. So I want you to go back and figure out or ask your parents, what does Hannah mean? Because you're going to need that in life, okay? All right. Hannah? All right, you know your name. What's your name?
Destiny.
That's right. Destiny. Mama, look from when you call in. My name is Miss Simona. All right, Destiny? What's your name?
Diana.
All right, Miss Diana. Princess Diana is in the house. Princess Diana, there you go. What's your name?
Nina.
What's your name?
Nina.
Nina? Nina? All right. Miss Nina is here. You ready to get to writing? All right, Nina. All right, what's your name?
Zariah.
Zariah. Very nice, Zariah. Thank you for that. I have a niece named Janaya, right? So like Zariah. What's your name?
Unica.
Unique, and that is unique. Huh? Thank you. And y'all have on your glasses too. Go ahead now, Unica. I gotta pull out some more. What's your name?
Zaria.
Zaria? Alright, we got a lot of Z's in the house today. Zaria, thank you so much, Zaria. What's your name, baby?
Zara.
Zara. There you go. Thank you so much. What's your name? Naya? Very nice, Naya. You okay today? Yeah? Alright. Here you go, Mama. What's your name?
Mara.
This is my niece, everybody. Amara. Hi, baby. Huh? Amara's in the house. There you go. Another one of my beautiful nieces. What's your name?
Tamari.
Tamari. Hey, Tamari. I'm glad you made it. There you go. All right. What's your name? Fatima. Hey, baby. Here you go. All right. What's your name?
Mason.
Mason. You see, your name is your power. Your name is your spirit. You got to identify with it. All right? Know the history of your name. Y'all know I'm going to have to get more pencils right now. What's your name?
Bryce.
Bryce. All right, Bryce. Here you go. Well, I would line Langy. What's your name?
Caleb.
Caleb. Ooh. Caleb. Oh, see some more pencils here. Mama, I think it's in some of the bags that I didn't take it out of yet. All right. And there we go. What's your name?
Dominic.
Dominic. There you go, Dominic. What's your name?
Zamora.
Zamora. So make your full your answer, Zamora. You upset? You good? All right. What do we say? Thank you. There you go. Yeah, there we go. Some pencils. And what's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan. You can play basketball? Yeah. There you go. You have any more names? What's your name? Philip. Here you go, Philip. And look now, when somebody talking and everybody talking, it's good to look them in the eye. Don't look shy. Just look me dead in my eye and say, my name is Philip. That's what's up. My name is Amuna. All right, you're welcome. So you're going to do that now too, right? Look me in the eye. What's your name?
Lorenzo.
What we call Lorenzo? Cool. He's like, yeah, my name is Lorenzo. There you go, Lorenzo. And what do you say? Thank you. We always show gratitude. We always show gratitude. What's your name?
My name is Isaiah.
That's what's up. You're the best. I come out for Isaiah. There you go, Isaiah. I have a nephew named Isaiah. There we go. What's your name?
Israel.
Yeah, you already know. What's up, Israel? How you doing? My name is Imuna Yisrael. That's good. What's your name? Ronald? Ronald. Find the book and on the side. All right. Thank you so much, Ronald. Hey, what's your name? Come to Jeremiah. Give me a little more be a standard.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. No more pen. We're going to give you some pens, so don't worry about that, Jeremiah. Just remind me. 1, 2, 3. And what's your name?
My name is Josh.
Thank you, Josh. There you go, Josh. Thank you very much. And that was the last. No, the last notebook. Let me give you one. What's your name?
Solomon.
Solomon. You carrying a name like that, Solomon? Tell me one more time.
Solomon.
Yeah, look up, Solomon.
Yes.
Look up. Solomon.
Solomon.
Yeah. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. We're gonna get you the book, Solomon. So don't worry. Go ahead and have a seat and give me like 2. But what make you feel move so quick, Solomon? Hold on. I'm gonna get you. Everybody give them a hand of applause, a round of applause. Give me like 2 seconds so I can get Solomon a book and 2 more pencils. And then we're gonna be It's in the car. Solomon needs a book and a pencil. And then my name. Did Israel get a book and a pencil? I'm working on my memory. Who didn't get a pencil? See, tell us your name again. Jeremiah didn't get a pencil. Jeremiah didn't get a pencil. All right. And last but not least, another pencil. We're going to get you one. Last but not least, young Shiloh Yisrael. This is to show everyone. We like to show, tell, and encourage. So this is to show us that this is not beyond us. I'm the type of person who likes to share what it is that I've learned. And so this is why we're here today. And I'm going to introduce one very nervous Shiloh Yisrael. Shiloh, please come up and say hello to everyone. Very nervous, Shiloh.
Shalom.
Shiloh, what's your name?
My name is Shiloh Israel.
All right, so this is my daughter. This is my oldest daughter. Our daughter, 8 years old. Her name is Shiloh. And you want to tell them the story? Or you want me to tell them the story? Okay, so Shiloh's a voracious reader. How many people like to read? All right, that's what I'm saying. Hands up, hands up. I see a lot of girls like to read. Boys don't like to read. I know y'all love to read. You know how to, but do you like it? No, why not? It's boring?
Sports and technology.
Okay, you guys like sports and technology. Okay, what about the sports? Is it the roughness, the adrenaline? Like, what is it?
The aggression.
The aggression.
There's no books.
There's no books.
There's no learning process. I mean, like, there's a learning process, but there's no, like, reading. At least you don't have to read.
You don't have to read. Oh, this is going to be juicy.
Yeah.
You run, you get wings.
Oh,
You
yeah.
win, you get AC.
Y'all gonna make me laugh today. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Shiloh, sit down. Before we actually get into the workshop, It's something about reading that depends on if when we were younger, if we were exposed to it, if it was excitable. There's something that's called Read Aloud 15, and I kind of joined it so that we could promote reading to our young children. When we're young, if your parent turns on the television and say, watch that, what happens is the cartoons do what your imagination is supposed to do. So when you used to read, you used to have to imagine the characters and Peter Rabbit. But if the cartoon is doing it for you, reading now becomes boring because you don't use your imagination. So this is why when we talk about reading and writing, they kind of go hand in hand. How many people remember story time when you were little in kindergarten at the library? Did you like story time? No again? Who said yes? And then who said no? Why you didn't like story time? You would fall asleep?
There was no air conditioning.
I can't. There was no air conditioning. Who liked story time? All right. Then why did you like story time? It was fun. All right. So guess what? The importance of reading is that, and writing, is that you get to translate your thoughts. Like right now I'm telling you how I feel because I'm speaking it. Another way to tell how you feel is because you write it. And because people who came before us wrote down their feelings, their thoughts, their history. This is how we're able to come and learn it. You understand that? So when we understand that if we don't know our history, anybody know that slogan, if you don't know your history, what happens? What happened? You die? Interesting thought. In what way? You won't know how to do anything. So if you don't know your history, you will be doomed to do what? Repeat it. Yes? So there's a very, very important thing about reading. Everything you need to know, someone is not necessarily going to tell you. Now, there's a different kind of knowing, but we're not going to go there today. We're going to stick on reading and writing. So I have a question. In ancient times, what are some of the tools the ancients used instead of paper? Rocks, stones. Hieroglyphics was the type of writing. What did they use instead of paper? We heard rocks, we heard stones, wood, trees. They use that to write. That's called today a writing implement. Everybody say writing implement. So can we name some writing implements? Pen, pencil, marker, crayons, highlighters, color pencils. Okay, so all of these are what you use to write, correct? Do you know that back in the day, everyone wasn't able to write and read?
They use like slaves.
Like slaves. I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring that up, but I was letting it simmer. So I'm glad you brought that up. There was a space and time where everyone wasn't allowed to read and write. And even in antiquity, reading and writing was thought of as a priestly class type of duty. Why do you think that is? Anybody? They didn't learn the knowledge, or is it that sometimes you were in spaces that people didn't want you to know the knowledge? And so if the common people, I like quotations, my daughter will tell you, didn't learn how to read and write, then you could control things. So why do you think it's important today to read and write?
So you don't know more, and you won't be controlled.
So you won't be bossed around. Very interesting feedback. So you guys are pretty sharp, man. Give you guys yourself a round of applause. You guys are on it. Writing implements, rocks, and papyrus, and animal skins. Oh, y'all forgot about the animal skins. They would dry the animal skins and then write on them, right? Very interesting. So let's go. Today, we already named some of the things that we use today. And I did give you two of those things, which is a paper and a pencil. Do you know that so many things have been created? Those who say they like cartoons, technology, do you know that came out of someone's mind? And more often than not, it was with a paper, a pencil, a pen, or a laptop of some sort, right? And so this is to tell you today that we don't only have to be consumers. Can anybody tell me what a consumer is?
A person who sells stuff.
A person who, they take it in. A consumer, when you go to the store and you take in, you purchase, you become the
Consumer.
What happens if somebody goes to the store all the time and always buy but don't make any money? What will they be?
Bro.
Oh, thank you, man. My goodness. You guys, man, you will be broke. So not only will you be physically broke, you'll be intellectually broke. You understand? So it is very important for you to input and export. Yes? Okay, now let's see here. I wanted to read you a little bit of benefits of reading aloud. Do you like reading aloud, Shiloh?
Sometimes.
She says sometimes. Okay, some of the benefits of reading aloud is it sharpens your focus. Who here is nervous to read aloud? Hannah says she's nervous to read aloud. Who likes reading aloud? All right, I might call on you. Thank you for putting your hand all the way up in the air so I can see that. All right. Did you know that reading aloud increases your vocabulary?
Yes. Because you can get stuck on a word.
And once you get through that word, what does that do? Now that's something that's in.
It stays.
It stays with you, right? So that also helps. It results in greater comprehension. Who can tell me what comprehension is?
I don't care vocabulary.
It has to do with your vocabulary.
How do you read it? Like, how do you understand the story?
How do you understand what you're reading?
Basically your knowledge of
Right, your knowledge of the subject. Do you know, have you ever read something and you have no idea what in the world those people are talking about?
Yes.
Because, right? Yes? You're like, what are they saying? I'm not comprehending, right? So you have to put more into your knowledge base and to begin to able to understand what it is you're reading. Reading aloud and making sure that you read at least daily and weekly will help with that. Yes? It gives you the opportunity to play. What does that mean? Reading aloud gives you the opportunity to play. How do you translate that? What would that mean for you?
It's like a story, like doing a pig, so you can act it out and play it.
Yeah. It gives you the opportunity to become these characters and give them voice and give them excitement and exclamations and all of these things like this. Yes? When you're watching television, what is somebody doing? Before they acted it out, what did they do? They first read a script.
They gotta read a script in order.
They have to do what to the script?
They have to practice.
What if actors didn't like to read?
they rip it up.
They watch too much TV.
They get unemployed or fired.
I can't with you guys. If actors didn't like to read, what would happen? It would be a problem, wouldn't it?
They would just make them up and then they would say that.
They wouldn't know what they were talking about. They would be like, I'm sorry, what's my line?
Some people.
They won't know what in the world they're supposed to be doing.
They wouldn't know what in the world they're supposed to be doing. Very interesting. Exercises your body, challenges your use of intonation, which is what we're talking about, the way in which you inflect, the way in which you speak on the words, and we're going to talk about that a little later. And lastly, it says improves listening and reading skills. I know I don't see a lot of parents here, but I bet if they were here, their hand would go in the air to say that. Some of you children have listening problems. Oh, see, y'all are here to raise your hand for yourself. Look, mommy in the back with 2 hands in the air.
What did you say?
That's what I'm saying. What did you say? Some children have listening problems. It's not that you guys don't hear. It's that you don't want to hear. Reading improves listening and reading skills. Reading aloud does. Yes?
Yes.
Now, we talked about reading. I want to talk a little bit about... First, I want you guys to pick out your pencil and paper, because this is going to apply to what I'm about to say. Your pencil and your paper. Somebody tell me one thing I just said.
Pencil and paper.
No, about the benefits of reading.
It improves reading skills.
Reading comprehension.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Proofread.
Proofread. I said proofread.
No, improve.
Oh, improve. Okay.
Improve your reading comprehension.
It's okay.
I mean,
All right, so everybody write your name on your tablet. Write your name on your tablet. You already wrote your name? You quick. Everybody write your name.
I wrote it on the front.
What's up? All right. Okay, so we wrote our names on our tablets? All right. The benefits of handwriting. What did I just ask you to do? I just asked you to
write it down.
write. Do we know that in today's tech, who likes texting? Who has cell phones? My goodness. You know back in the day we didn't have a cell phone? Nah. Ask my bro, what did we have back in the day? We had papers, right? That was our texting machine. Do you know the benefits of writing? Anybody, can anybody tell me off the top of their head what is the benefit of writing?
Improve handwriting.
Improves handwriting. Very good.
Sometimes it can make money.
I,
Write books.
you write books. You can make money. Correct. What else?
You put the things in your mind to the paper and it becomes a symbol.
That's good. Yeah, what y'all was sneaking, peeking on my stuff over here? All right, cool. It's better for learning. In this day and age when everyone is on these things here, not to say that technology is not good, but writing, especially when you're going to write a book or you're going to write a paper, it's always good to first handwrite it. And these are some of the reasons why. I'm a handwriter. What happens is, you ever wrote something and your computer crashed and then all of a sudden you couldn't get it back? Nobody?
That's why.
I can't with you. That's why they created a flash drive. You wrote. It says it's better for learning. There is a coordination that goes on with your brain and your hand. That's important. And when we text a lot, you notice that people who text, especially the younger generation, they start shortening words and not spelling words to the fullness. And then when they try to write their papers or their work, they actually forgot how to spell. Because they think LOL is an actual word. It's not. It's not. So when we go into these realms, which all of you guys, I know you're going to be like, I remember that workshop and I'm going to be a young author, right? So we're going to do it the right way, correct? It makes you a better writer. Writing, at first, your ideas, writing them out, it makes you a better writer. It prevents you from becoming distracted. And this was interesting. They said that you're on your type, you're on your Word, or maybe you see something pop up on Facebook, or maybe you see something pop up on social media and you're not paying attention to what it is. And the thing with a paper and pencil, it never runs out of energy. So you don't have to worry about the fact that your battery is dead, right? You can always write down. How many people like writing songs or music? Ah. So where do you usually write your rhymes at? Paper? Computer? And your songbook. Okay, so when inspiration hits, it's always good to have a paper and pen around, yes?
Or a rock.
Or a rock, see? And a little chisel, and that might work for you. It says, and it keeps your brain sharp. So these are the stuff, I see you yawning. Am I boring you back there? You yawning, you okay?
He's just thirsty.
He's thirsty? We're going to get you guys some water in a little bit, all right? All right, water's coming, okay? All right. So let's see the time here. What's going on with you guys? All right. So we're gonna get started. There was a thing I put in your notepad, a little piece of paper. And today's the 26th. I put a little calendar on there because when you have projects, it's very important to make a deadline or a goal, a time where you want to have this thing completed. Why is that important? A schedule. Why is it important to make a schedule?
It's important to make a schedule because you probably don't have knowledge. You probably forget and
You might forget.
you don't have a cell phone. You need to put it.
You want to put it down. And also, when we give ourselves a time to complete something by, it's more motivating. How many people, like when you go to school, do you have schedules of when your information is due, when your book reports are due, or things like that? All right. Does the teacher just say, hey, just turn it in whenever you want to, and that'll be fine with you? So you have to be motivated for yourself when you want to write a book. Again, I'm sorry. Tell me how many people are interested in writing a book at some point?
I like writing
What kind? Poetry, fiction, non-fiction?
poetry.
Poetry, fiction,
Comics.
non-fiction, in the fiction. Okay, can you guys tell me? I think I forgot a little bit. Maybe what's the difference between fiction and non-fiction?
Non-fiction is not real and non-fiction is real.
Fiction is not real and non-fiction is. Okay, all right. So that was one of the questions. Everybody write down, since you say you're all interested in writing books, it's good to start thinking about what kind of books you want to write. So if you want to write fiction, write down fiction. If you want to write nonfiction, write nonfiction. Go ahead and write that right now. Think about it. I'll give you a little time while y'all sipping on your water. Think about what kind of book do you want to write. You guys are thinking? You got that down? Still thinking? It's okay. Think some more. I think I'm gonna get me some water too. Sit down.
Very good.
All right. So you have to ask yourself questions when you want to do anything in life. You have to know, why am I doing what I'm doing? And that's going to determine whether or not you started off with a good vibration or a bad vibration. How many people ask themselves questions before they do stuff? So you have that internal dialogue or that conversation, like, why am I doing this? This is what we also have to ask for the book, because sometimes it can get difficult. True? Sometimes it can get difficult. You can get stuck in a space, or it's taking long, and you have to continue to remember why you started in the first place. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Here's another good juicy one, and I'm going to give y'all a few minutes to do this. What are you interested in writing about? What? Thank you so much. What? Yes. What do you want your book to be about? I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes, and definitely when you go home, you can continue to think. If you can write about anything in the world, what would you write about? First question. And the second question is, do you currently have enough information to write about this? You know everything there is to know? I heard that. My ears is real sharp.
Yep.
I'm the mother of 4. You know everything?
There is to know about ponies.
About ponies?
Yeah, I'm writing a fiction book.
You want to write a fiction book about ponies? Okay, write it down. Because when you write it down, we make things real. So go ahead and write that down. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes, and then we're going to come back. And whoever's willing, you're going to share a little bit about what you want to write about, okay? I see you guys look real excited back there. That's good. That means your imagination is moving. Who wrote it down, or who was just playing around drinking water when they were supposed to be? You wrote it down? What did you write?
Run out, say it.
You scared? Are you going to tell the whole world about your book now?
I was playing around drinking water.
You was playing around drinking water? At least you honest.
I'm just kidding. I'm writing.
What are you going to write about?
It's a fiction story about China. Oh.
That is deep. And that is very... What is it about? Tell them again. About child abuse?
Yep.
That's a very deep topic. That's a very deep topic. Like I said, children have a very interesting perspective. One time I saw a photographer in India give little children disposable cameras. And when they came back, the pictures were so amazing because they took the pictures from a child's perspective. So this conversation that we're having is to let you know that voices, no matter how small, are important. You understand? So what are you going to write about? Stand up, mama. You gotta be ready, because after you write, you gotta tell the people. So you gotta, okay, what are you gonna write about? Oh, okay, I'm up getting your business now. A fictional story about a woman? What about a woman? Now I'm gonna have to come a little closer now.
Speak louder.
Yeah, speak louder.
She finds treasures that other people think that don't exist.
Now, we're going to use your example for a minute. Anybody else want to tell me what? Okay, we got a few people. Come here, love, like you got love on your shirt. Stand up and tell us your name again. Tell us what you're going to write about.
My book is nonfiction, and it's about a boy lost in the middle of the woods.
Very interesting. We got one over here. Let's tell us your name again and what you're going to write about.
Daria.
Daria, what you going to write about?
I'm gonna write about being a good BF friend.
All right. Okay. We have one on start. Go ahead.
My name is Isaiah, and I'm drawing about superheroes.
Heroes. All right. I'm about to get in your business in just a little bit. We're gonna leap into this conversation.
My name's Philip, and I'm writing a nonfiction picture book about LeBron James packing Steph Curry's shot.
My name is Amor, and I'm wearing a pack of Jesus.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Give sister over here. Sister.
My name is Zariah, and I'm writing a non-fiction book about fatherless girls.
That's another deep topic. That's another deep
Topic. She says she's gonna write a non-fiction book about fatherless girls. This is speaking to our community. This is why I say it's very important to give children voices, because there are things that are inside of them that they need to express in a positive way in order to purge their mind and their soul, so that when they grow older, they do not carry these heavy loads and these baggages that no one ever knew existed within inside of them. So I want to thank everybody for actually being open and honest to say what you're going to write about. Give yourself a round of applause. All of these things are very important. As we go on, you have to begin to think to yourself, and I want you to write this down, and you're going to definitely do it and say to yourself, and you touched on a little bit, but why do you want to tell this story? Why do I want to tell this story? Give yourself 3 reasons at least, so that, like I said, as you continue on this narrative, on this journey, you remember why you started in the first place. So if you can, at least begin to ask yourself, why do I want to tell this story? Seriously. Because this is your voice. So go ahead and write that down. I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Say why you want to write this story. Why is it important to you? Yeah, if you want, here's some examples. I want to write this story is because it affected my life. I want to write this story because it excites me. I want to write this story because I want to find out more about this character, this place. So you have to understand, because oftentimes when we start to write a story, we don't know all of the facts. And so we have to go and do the research part of our books to make sure that we're putting, even in a fiction narrative, accurate information, unless it's just way out there kind of conversation. You had your hand up?
She said what if you want to write more than one story?
That's very interesting. The thing about writing more than one story, you kind of have to, and that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit, you're going to have to plan it out, because sometimes you have more than one book in one story. And so as not to confuse the reader, you have to kind of narrow it down to what I want to speak about now, and then maybe it's a chapter book with, or maybe it's a series. So you have to really kind of determine how far you want to go with the conversation. So if you have more than one story, it could possibly work, or you might have to break it up. Yeah? You might run around a series. That's very interesting. You know, we need more ethnic books in the community. So in Brevard, we're going to be some book writing Brevard. What do they call them? Brevardians? What do you call people who live in Brevard? Floridians. Brevardians? I thought it was going to be something like Brevardians. Does anybody know? Thank you. Anybody have a reason why they want to write the book quickly?
Because I love ponies.
If you tell me about your ponies one more time, you're going to have to tell me about all, you can stand up, mama. You have to tell me about all the different breed of ponies, where they were bred, what kind of hay they like to eat. I want to get some information on these ponies. But go ahead. To inspire you. You want to inspire. All right? And why do you want to write your book?
I want to tell you Steph Curry.
So you're really into this. You're really into the basketball. Why do you want to write the book? Yes.
I want to write about this because some people, and when they feel best friend, they don't feel best friend anymore because they was the only one there and the only one there in the class, and they was the only friend and they was
All right. All right. Why do you want to write your book?
I want to write my story because it's a mystery, it's adventurous, and it touches me.
All right. And why do you want to write your book? To inspire people not to give up. Do you know that? And that's very good. Like I said, write. I want you to write down. We missing somebody in the back? Tell us why you want to write your book.
Because it was something that's very close to my heart that I feel like I should talk about.
Very good. These are all reasons. Okay, go ahead, Mom. What? I didn't hear you. You want the microphone? Because it's pretty. Hey, people write books. You take picture books. You see a whole lot of. That's a reason. You want to show the beauty of the Most High's creation. That's definitely a reason. You have picture books on garden and flowers and animals, beautiful women, men. You have books about the ocean, the sea, the mountains. So definitely, if it is interesting to you, that is motivation to want to bring it to a broader audience. So we talked about why do we want to write the book. Continue to give yourself reasons because you're going to need that going forward. Shiloh, why did you want to write My Brother, My Keeper?
Because I wanted to find myself and my culture and who I really am.
Because and the story goes, she came to me, Mommy, I don't really like these books. She likes reading, so you got to keep up with her. And I said, hey, guess what? We can write our
Own book.
And that's how we wrote our own book. That's basically how it went. We started to have the same questions that you're having today. And we're going to actually read you 2 chapters from the book. And I really wanted to tell you and stress the importance of writing it, if you can, with an adult or your parents. You want to know why? Because we don't know everything. And they can share, and it will be something that you can do together. That is going to be something that you can pass on. You'll remember, you know what? I wrote this book with my mommy. I wrote this book with my daddy. I wrote this book with my favorite babysitter, my favorite teacher. When you do it collectively, are we listening or are we back there talking about basketball in the back? Philip, what's going on back there? You good? Okay, go ahead. What's your question? Come again? Now you didn't finish yet. You gotta go through like 3-4 edits before you ready to go through. And we're gonna talk about that. What characters do you want to speak? You have to name your characters. If it's fiction, you have to think about the names that you're gonna give the characters. You have to think about the places your characters are gonna live. You have to think about all of these things. So write that down. Write down, what's the name of my character? How old are they? Where do they live? Who lives in the house with them? Do they have a dog? What school do they go to? All of these things are very important, yes? Because we want to have details in our story. Can we say details?
Detail.
Why are details so important?
Because we want to have a detail in our story.
Oh, and what do? They give you more things. Like right now, can somebody, if this was a scene in a book, can somebody give me some descriptive words to describe this room? Can we describe this room if we were going to write it into a story?
It's yellow.
Yellow. Can we get any more words? Right here. Bright. That's a descriptive word.
If this room is in the story, I would describe it as that it has the flags of the culture.
Okay. Philip?
Yellow walls. Lots of bands.
Okay.
Lots of kids.
Lots of children. Tell me your name again. Jordan. Well, how would you describe it?
I was thinking about culture because I see all these flags.
Okay. All right. Israel. It's Israel, right? Can you?
I was going to say culture.
Culture. Okay. Can anybody tell me can you identify a flag up on this wall?
Jamaica.
All right. Jamaica came quick, eh?
The United States.
You see any other ones?
United States. Haiti.
Haiti, Haiti. You see any other ones? Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You see Barbados, Trinidad. See Haiti? All right. Okay, so we would describe it. Can any adults give us some help? Can we get some help from the adults? Can we get some descriptive words that you can weave into a narrative with a young one? Can we get some thoughts? No. Okay, we have Elder Netherback.
Did anybody describe the colors on the wall?
They said bright and yellow.
Balloons from the ceiling or whatever? Whatever hanging from the ceiling?
Right.
The sign.
But how would we tell it in a story? How would we tell it in a story? And good afternoon, everybody. How would we tell it in a story for if we walked into this room and you wanted your character to walk into this workshop or walk into this room and let them feel where we are? This is the importance of telling a story, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So that they can not, they say don't just tell the story. You have to show it in your words. So if you only had your words to paint this picture, take me through the door and allow me to come into this room and actually see what you're seeing with your words. And that's what when the author is writing, I'm coming, Israel, when we accomplish that, the person can close their eyes and actually be where you are.
You want me to do that?
Give it to me now.
As I walked through the door, it was 40 by 30 in the area. The colors on the wall were blue and yellow. I noticed the flags representing different islands. You know, against the wall there was a bar to my right. The floor was clean. I thought I might slip and fall on it, but it was just that clean. It was shiny. There were people in the roof. It was a meeting. There were children and adults and displays of different vendors. You know, I'm done.
Did anybody feel that? If you close your eyes, could you see what he was describing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Anybody want to add to that a little bit? Israel in the back? No, just a part where if you would come in and you could add a little part. We're building a story together, so if you could add a little part to kind of describe and let me get what we're saying, how we're experiencing this room, what would you add to that?
I would say that there's like kind of like there's a meeting with children, and because there's a lot of people in the room.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Don't be afraid. Did anybody notice that there are balloons hanging from the ceiling? There's an arrangements of flowers off into the corner with beautiful displays of pink and red with a touch of green. You understand what I'm saying? Some of our favorite songs, they sing in a way where we feel like we're there. You understand? And so this is where we have to get into when we're telling a certain story and a certain narrative. Any more adults? I see some adults in the back.
Yeah, the room was awash with lights. We knew it was hot because the fans were spinning.
See what I'm talking about? No.
It seems like everyone was focused, paying attention to what was actually going on. Even though they were kids, there was nothing on the topic going on among the kids. They were focused on what was being discussed.
There we go.
It seems to be a very studious room.
There we go. And we entered into the room. So this is, and we have, go ahead.
And I would say white
Oh, there we go, the curtains.
white tablecloths. Some of the children do some gray.
But how would we, this is just a little bit. And we say there are white curtains and white tablecloths. What can we add? What adjective can we add to that to give it more of a visual? Can we say the tablecloths were gleaming white?
Yeah.
Or they were lily white? When you use not too much, just like seasoning, just a little sprinkling, like the elder said, the floor was shiny. You know, just these little words will help with your narrative, yes? So that was our little narrative exercise right there. bouncing balloons, my daughter says. The balloons, not only were they colorful, but they were also bouncing, flowing in the wind of the breeze, or whatever you want to say. But again, so what you're going to do is develop your characters, write down what you want to talk about, develop your characters, and then that is the beginnings of your book. That's the seed of your book. Yes? Yes? Is everybody still with me?
I would be remiss if I didn't say this. I think you have to describe the fact that you walked in and it was a Sunday afternoon,
There we go.
and you had children that could be doing something else on a Sunday afternoon, but they're here being studious, and you here being remembered.
All right.
Singing that, okay? And having that mood to learn something beyond just performance.
Yeah, there we go. Amara, that's your hand. Thank you so much. That's your hand in the air, Amara. The balloons. All right. All right. So how did you enjoy that exercise? Did we have a TV?
Oh, yeah.
Did we have a radio? What did we have?
Electronic.
Imagination.
We had our minds. That's the most, like they said back in the days, the most beautifulest thing in the world. Your imagination is a beautiful thing. Or a lot of what we see in our reality comes out of our imagination. So we should use it for good. Yes? All right, so I'm not going to hold you guys much longer. I'm going to give it over to Shiloh now. And we're going to read a little bit from our imagination, which is My Brother, My Keeper, which is the book that we wrote together. We did just kind of exactly what you saw just now, where we sat down together as mother and daughter. You can be father and daughter. You can be two older brothers to just your family, your friends, your elders. You know who are great? Elders. How many people like talking to elders? Do you know they have a lot of information? You like old people? Okay, I don't think they like when we call them old people. Maybe we call them elders. Yeah? Elders have a lot of information, so never forget it. Don't just look at them like, they're old, you know, whatever. You don't know what's going on. They can tell you a lot, yes? So at this point, we're gonna listen to a little bit about what we did for, what are their names?
Asher and Joab.
All right, we're gonna say a little bit what we did for Asher and Joab. Shiloh's gonna read chapter 1, and then I'm gonna read chapter 2. And then we're gonna have you guys take a little snack and a break and all of that good, nice, lovely stuff. So Shiloh?
Chapter 1, the Jordan brothers. The Jordan brothers, Joab and Asher, are the only set of twins in their neighborhood. The two were born 6 minutes apart. Joab was the first to emerge. Let's not leave out the painful fact that baby Joab decided to arrive into the world as a footling breech. Yes, indeed, he came feet first. It was a really tough delivery for their mother, Mooney, as many like to call her. Mooney loved to tell the miraculous story of how her baby twins were born. Joab and Asher were always in some kind of disagreement. To hear Joab tell it, he thinks that Asher may not even be his real brother. Mooney would frequently remind them about how they challenged one another even when they were in her room. She often taught the boys the importance of getting along and looking out for each other. The Jordan brothers lived with their father Baruch, mother Mooney, and their little sister Hannah in a town called Arad. Next door to the Jordans lived their father's brother, Uncle Amos, his wife Auntie Nama, and their 9 children. Their father's sister, Aunt Naomi, lives around the corner next door to the Benyamins. Arad is a small town with ancient roots quietly tucked away in the arid desert of the Negev. The Jordan brothers lived at 1035 Dirik Lane, the ranch-style home decorated in a huge soft peach color and surrounded by manicured gardens and fruitful trees. It is simply beautiful. Their family's home is nestled in the center of the lane. As a matter of fact, their grandfather Ram built their home with his very own hands when he first arrived in Arad many years ago. Grandmother Tamar, or Savta Tamar, she was known, was the one who picked the soft peach color. Savta said it reminded her of the setting sun. Being a down-to-earth woman, The color fit her perfectly. Together, Sav and Savta created a beautiful place for their family to live. Savaram was a slender, tall, and strong man. Together with Savta Tamar, they had three children, 2 boys and 1 girl. The twins' grandfather wore his woolly silver-toned hair tucked away under his kippah, or hat. His beard was long and entirely overrun with silver strands, perfectly matching with those on his head. Asher always thought Savaram was so cool. As a small child, Asher watched as his Sav would rub olive oil infused with frankincense all over his hair and down his beard. That woodsy smell of Savaram became etched into Asher's memory. He admired his Sav and wanted to be just like him when he grew up. Savta Tamar was also a slender woman, tall in stature and graceful in appearance. Aged like fine wine, Savta retained her youthful beauty. Her face did not even have 1 wrinkle, and her touch was like the balm of Gilead, soothing and healing. A few years ago, Savaram gave the house at 1035 Derrick Lane to his son, Baruch, for his inheritance. Baruch's brother Amos received the other property, located right next door. Savaram was determined to leave a legacy for his children's children. On many occasions, Savaram would call his children around as he sat under the majestically adorned acacia tree in the center of the backyard. The family would often meet under the tree in the cool of the day. The acacia was something to behold. She held many secrets of the land and people who lived there long ago. Her green umbrella-like company of shrubby leaves provided well-needed shade on many heat-scorching days. The Jordan family loved to use her fruit for medicine, perfume, and so much more. Bowie, Savaram called. All of Savaram's children and grandchildren would gather around on benches under the acacia tree. Younger ones would sit on the bare earth, their eyes bright and ears open to hear what Savaram had to say. A good person leaves an inheritance for the children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. He would repeat these wise words 3 times and instruct the oldest of his children to say them as well. Everyone sat around, waiting to hear the additional wise things that Savaram had to offer. Savta Tamar would make refreshments and bring them out to the family on a golden platter. Uncle Amos' eldest daughter, Ruth, would help Savta bring out ice-cold mint lemonade and homemade falafel balls with pita bread. When the sun hit the platter just at the right moment, it would sparkle and glisten, taking the appearance of real gold. Those times made everyone feel like royalty. Just last year, both Savaram and Savta Tamar passed away. They are no longer physically with the Jordan family, but their memory and the inheritance they left behind still lives on.
All right.
Thank you, Shiloh. You read that really well. You were nervous. In that opening chapter, and I'm going to read chapter 2, did you get to know a little bit about the Jordan brothers? Where they lived, where they're from, who's their family? You see, all of these things we had to think about. We had to have conversations. She wanted to make it 3. I wanted to make it 4. You want to make the house yellow or orange. All of these things give you an idea of where they are. What does it look like? What does it smell like? His grandfather, his gray hair, his hat. You have to think about all of these things when you're talking about writing a fiction story. Now, if you're writing nonfiction, please don't think about all those things that you're going to put in there. Like for right now, we were going to make this a nonfiction story. We couldn't just all of a sudden change the walls to green. Because everybody who's here is going to be like, okay, the wall weren't green. So when you're writing a nonfiction story, it's very important to go back and get all the details as they were, yes? Because if you don't, then it becomes kind of like faction. But anywho, we got young one in the back with his hand in the air. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that. The question was, how do we know when to make it a new chapter? Usually, depending on the reading age and the reading level, you want to kind of break it down into 10 chapters. If it's an older child, like you guys, higher elementary, you want to make it 10 chapters and no more than 10 pages a chapter, right? But if it's a younger children's book, then it won't be a chapter book. But for you guys, you want to kind of set the stage. Some people may set the stage with an event. That gets you like quickly, like something crazy happens and now all of a sudden somebody wants to know what's going to happen after that. So it really determines what kind of book you're writing. All of these things is the conversation you would have with your adults and those who are around you so you can determine what kind of book I'm writing. And most definitely you have to get the who, the, what, the who, the, and here's another one. The who, the what, the when, the where, the why, the how, and the why now. When I was doing a lot of research, one person said, say why now. Because when somebody's either in the media, they're doing the news, and they say, hey, I really want you to cover this story. Why now? Why is it important now and not important? You understand? So if somebody was to come here and cover this event, why now? Because it's happening right now. You know, so oftentimes when you're going to do the young brother and the sister who wants to do about fatherless children or fatherless daughters and child abuse, what would be good to do your actual book is to look at statistics so that you can raise awareness as to why this is important to hear about now. So when I say do the research, you're going to have to do the research with the elders on the book, so that you can make sure that you're accurate. Even in your fiction, even in fiction, when you see my daughter reading about the acacia tree, we had to learn about the acacia tree, the functions of the acacia tree. Where does it grow and what can it be used for? What is the fruits used for? So when I say why now and all of the details, you definitely have to go into the research phase of your book. It's not going to be like, oh, I woke up this morning and I wrote a book. Not if you want it to be a good book that's going to go far. Yes? All right, so I'm going to read you one more chapter. 1 second. Anybody have any more questions? And if we have any questions after this? Come again?
Do you have like actual extra copies that you sell them?
Yeah. We actually have extra copies. We wanted to get one to everybody today, but that wasn't able to be done. So maybe we'll have a little raffle. Everybody put their names in the thing, and we'll pick the raffle. And then from there, you'll be able to go ahead and read it more. So I'm going to read about. So what can anybody tell me? These two boys, what were they? The story tells they were twins. And what were their name? The Jordan brothers. Shiloh wanted to name them the Jordan brothers, but okay. How many sisters do they have? One. You guys are good. That's pretty good. What was the issue with them? How were they born? There you go. It's called a footling breach. Yeah? So sometimes you come along in the story, you don't know what that is. That's an opportunity to do some more learning. Yes? So they were a footling breach.
And just to let you guys know, chapter 2 is pretty funny.
She thinks chapter 2 is funny. So let's go ahead and get to chapter 2. It says, it was the Jordan brothers' responsibility to keep their front and backyard clean. The boys were homeschooled and house chores were part of their curriculum. From time to time, the neighbors would call on them to help with their yard work as well. Everyone in the community was like one extended family. Each person knew the other by name and face. If children wanted to misbehave, they would think twice, because in the Negev, there was always someone watching. Miss Mary Longtongue, the neighbor across the street, was one who everyone had to be mindful of. She had no husband, no children, and 5 cats. Needless to say, Miss Mary had a lot of time on her hands. Idleness often entertained her days, and storytelling was her pseudo occupation. Does anybody know what pseudo means? It means false. So Miss Mary Longtongue was a nosy neighbor, basically, right? She's a snooper, yeah. It says, if you would walk by her house on any given day, you would be sure to see the silhouette of Miss Mary's head wrap. Anybody know what a head wrap is? I have on a head wrap. So do you know what a silhouette is? What's a silhouette? A silhouette is what you see behind. So now I'm going to be interactive with you guys, right? So imagine, I'm not Miss Mary Longtongue, but imagine if I was. This would be her. Peeping through her curtain when people walk by. Oops, so she can know their business, yeah? So you wouldn't see her body, you would just see the shadow of her body. That's a silhouette. It says here, you would be sure to see the silhouette of Miss Mary's head wrap peeping from behind her hot pink and mint green laced curtains. Can you imagine her curtains?
Yes.
Or if the day permitted, she could be seen sitting on her cluttered front porch, rocking in her chipped up wooden rocking chair. Remember what I told you about these descriptive words? I'm reading now, so I'm going to break it up so I can interact. Remember what I told you? What does a rocking chair look like?
It's basically old.
It rocks.
Yeah, it's old, it's wooden, it's chipped up, right? What color are her curtains?
Pink.
No, they're not white. They're,
Pink and green lace.
yeah, there you go. They're pink and green lace. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. All right, so we're paying attention. And so what would cause her to go outside? If she was hot, exactly. If she was hot. So this is when do you get what I'm saying when I'm talking about you have to really think about these characters and go into their mind and what you want them to be, do, and say. She says now, "Hey, baby," she would yell to the children passing by. "What did you learn today?" she would ask. "How is your family?" would be the next question. At first, she seemed harmless, but after a while, the neighbors learned that Miss Mary was probing the neighborhood children so she could find out about any drama that was happening in their families. After her encounter with the neighborhood children, Miss Mary would gossip about the people's personal business like she was the anchor on the daily news. So that's an analogy. When somebody says something and somebody is like, she doesn't work for the Daily News, but what do people on the Daily News do?
They give information from what
happened.
and then they put it on.
So Miss Mary Longton was this type of person, yes?
She would go around
Telling everybody's business. It says, because of this, the Jordans warned their children about her. They said, show respect. They should say, but watch what you say to her. Because she's an elder, so can you go on and go around and, Miss Mary Longton, can you do that as a child? Yes? No. So you would show respect because she's an elder, but you also are wise whether or not you can engage in conversation with her. It says the morning before spring break, Joab was outside sweeping the yard when he saw Miss Mary sitting on her front porch. He was bursting to tell anyone, about his upcoming vacation. We're on vacation. Who's excited about vacation? Yeah? Nobody's excited about vacation? Well, he was excited about vacation. He says, Joab saw no one else around, so he decided to walk over to Miss Mary's yard. Is that a good idea?
No.
Tomorrow marks the beginning of our week-long vacation, he says. Is that so? Remarked Miss Mary slyly. She was one of the neighbors who thought it was strange that the Jordans decided to homeschool their children. Does anybody know what homeschooling is?
Homeschool is when they can't afford a private school and
That's interesting. What else is homeschool?
when you school at home.
Go ahead, finish up, Mom. You done? Who got the hand up? Go ahead, tell me what homeschool is. You teach them school at home. Uh-huh. The teachers. It's okay. What'd she say? The teachers teach at home? Okay, can you tell me what homeschooling is?
When the teachers are your parents and the teacher at home.
Very interesting. Very good. Very good. Does anybody know any homeschool people?
I used to.
You used to? All right, that's cool. So this is Miss Mary Longton. She thinks homeschooling is kind of strange. And so we have here, it says she was one of the neighbors who thought it was strange that the Jordans decided to homeschool their children. She and a few others often spoke ill of their efforts in undermining the Jordans' ability to provide a good education for their children. Even in the face of all the homeschooler success stories, some people found it hard to break out of the norm. Miss Mary was one of them. I'm so excited, proclaimed Joab. What are you going to do on your break? Miss Mary inquired snidely. Oh, a little of this and a little of that, he exclaimed. What will your mother be doing? She asked. Why does she want to know what his mother will be doing?
Because so she knows.
She knows. He says, Joab stepped back and furrowed his brow. What does my mother have to do with my vacation, he thought. All right. It says, Joab paused for a moment and suddenly remembered what his mother told him about Miss Mary. Alarmed by his abrupt pause in conversation,